Okay, so yes, welcome to this webinar, which is an introduction to Music Express. I hope you're all doing well, and I'd just like to thank you for finding a bit of time to get to know the resource, and I really hope the information we share with you today will come in handy. To start, I'll just go over a few things regarding the functionality of this webinar. So you should be able to see my screen and hear me, but I can't see or hear you. If you have questions, you can use the chat facility and I'll look at these at the end. If I'm unable to answer any questions, we will send the information in the follow-up email. And perhaps someone could confirm that you can in fact hear me and see my screen by writing a note in the chat. That would be great. And do feel free to say hello to one another. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Lovely. Thank you. Lovely. Ah, fantastic. Thanks, everybody. And finally, we are recording this webinar and we'll share it with you afterwards in case you'd like to refer back. So I thought I'd quickly introduce myself and also what we'll be covering today. My name is Naomi and I'm the music publisher at Collins, which means I look after all the music education resources we produce, both existing titles and new publishing, covering print and digital, and this includes Music Express. I'm a musician, I studied music at university, and my background is in publishing and resource development. If you're attending this webinar, you most likely have access to Music Express, but may not know a lot about it. So to give you a bit of background, Music Express is a comprehensive, progressive music scheme that's designed to be accessible to non-specialist teachers, but also offers flexibility for music teachers who may prefer to dip in or structure things in their own way. It's written by leading music education experts and includes a rich variety of music activities, drawing on a wide range of genres, from medieval melodies to romantic ballet music, to jazz and pop, to traditional and classical forms from across the globe. It's cross-curricular and units are topic-based to help tie in with school themes. It's also fully resourced, so everything you need is hosted within the platform. Music Express is all about high-quality, engaging music lessons with careful progression built in. At its heart is an inclusive approach to music learning so that all children and teachers too can enjoy the wealth of benefits that music making and learning offers. Today's webinar is a basic tour covering the key features and the functionalities. So let's dive in. In front of us, we have the welcome page with 8 tiles representing the different sections of the site. These sections can also be accessed using the tabs along the top of the screen. On the top right is a link to my favorites, a search box, and a link to the user guide PDF, and I'll come back to these later. And to return to this welcome page, you can click on the Music Express logo. I'll briefly describe each of the sections before we go into the detail. So we have the lesson bank, and this is where the core materials are located. It contains all planning documents, printouts, and fully resourced lessons. The song bank contains over 400 songs, which you can filter and search. The warm-ups are just that, organised by age range and broken down into different types of warm-up. The skill builders are arranged in much the same way, focusing on different aspects of music making. The instrumental resources section includes an interactive xylophone, ukulele magic, and recorder magic, both schemes for whole class teaching. The knowledge bank is a new area, home to a wide range of helpful videos for pupils and teachers. Our COVID-19 support area was created to assist with home and blended learning and also includes ideas for adapting music lessons in school. And finally, About Music Express is where key information, overviews, and supporting documentation can be found. So we'll work through the tabs from left to right, starting with the lesson bank. So in the lesson bank, we have hundreds of complete, ready-to-use lessons organised, as you can see here, by year group. So simply click on a year box to access the resources. The year groups are all arranged in the same way, with the exception of early years, which I will come back to later. At the top, we have the year plan and assessment sheets PDFs. So let's start with looking at the year plan. As you can see, this opens in a new tab. And if I scroll down, you can see that it shows all of the units and the recommended route through the 3 terms. Then we also have the assessment sheets PDF. And these are really straightforward. We have one sheet for each unit with reminders of lesson learning at the top, and simple working at, working towards, and working beyond with space for names and comments. Within each year, resources are arranged into teaching units, which are topic-based. There are 12 units of 3 lessons for years 1 to 4, and this changes to 6 units of 6 lessons for upper key stage 2. So we have the same number of lessons, just longer units. The units are shown in the order suggested in the whole year plan, but they can be reordered to suit your own requirements. And you can do this by dragging and dropping the unit panels like so. The next time you log in, the units will be in the order they were in when you last logged out, so they don't reset or anything like that. So let's have a look at a unit. Here you can view all of the lessons within the unit. There is a summary panel containing some useful planning information, such as the cross-curricular link, the musical focus, and a brief description. We also have the unit plans and lesson plans with printable resources in versions for England and Wales and for Scotland. So taking a look at one of the unit plans. So this provides an overview of the unit. There we go. With a breakdown of the 3 teaching activities in each lesson and additional learning support, plus the assessment sheet for quick reference. Then taking a look now at the lesson plans and printable resources. So this document goes into more detail on the teaching activities, and it also has some useful information to the side, such as what you will need and the vocabulary sections. You'll also find any printable resources after the relevant lesson. So we click on a blue lesson tile to be taken to the main lesson content. And here you will see a player screen with teaching instructions to the right. Each lesson contains 3 activities, and you can click on the tabs above the player to move between the activities or to view additional teaching notes, such as extended learning. The activities are often broken down further into multiple steps. So you can see here, step 1 of 2 and step 2 of 2. You can also move between the lessons in a unit with the previous and the next lesson buttons. So I'd like to quickly show you now how the player works, although it is quite intuitive. So let's use this one. So here we have a play and pause button, the volume control, the rendition drop down. So often we're choosing between the performance track with singing or the backing track with no singing. We have a lyrics drop down option. So here you're choosing whether to display the synchronized lyrics and whether these appear line by line or a whole verse at a time. And you can also see the lyrics in full by clicking on the word lyrics below the panel. Often you can jump to different parts of a track by clicking on the blue buttons to select the section you'd like to listen from. Finally, we have a full screen view for whiteboard teaching, and I'm going to use this just to give you a little example. So we're in full screen. I'm going to stick with performance. Let's have the lyrics by verse, and let's jump to verse 3.
Here we are at the park today, playing at the park, playing at the park.
Okay. In some cases, usually when the options are quite straightforward, the audio buttons are embedded within the activities. So I'll just find an example of that. In lesson 3. And there we go. So in this case, you click on the orange buttons to play and stop the audio tracks or clips.
It was a beautiful day in the holidays.
And if I scroll down to step 3, I can quickly highlight some new teaching notes we've added in years 1 to 6. You'll see that some steps have SEND notes, a tech idea, or as in this case, both. As I mentioned at the beginning, Music Express is already an inclusive scheme, but we thought it would be helpful to give teachers further suggestions for diversifying music activities with dedicated SEND notes. We're also conscious that schools are increasingly being encouraged to incorporate technology into lessons, but it can be really hard to know where to start. So the tech ideas tell you how you might build in the use of technology and often signpost to suitable apps as well. We also have a new SEND scheme, which offers 6 topic-based units of work for use in special school classroom environments or for small group and individual intervention work in both special and mainstream schools. The units can be found in the lesson bank within years 1 to 4. Another way to navigate is using the trail at the top of the screen. So I'm going to use this to come back to the year group view. And if I scroll to the bottom of the page, I will find the units with the SEND label. The topics were chosen by special educational needs teachers from a range of special schools. Each unit has been carefully reworked from the mainstream Music Express scheme and for the most part retains the unit's original learning intentions, appropriately differentiated. So having a look at one of these units, and I can show you that. The teaching materials are presented in the same way as in the mainstream scheme, with additional alternative teaching instructions such as sensory alternatives, adapt instructions, and extend activities. And there's signposting to the musical progression ladders that comprise the assessment framework, which I will show you now. So there are 3 supporting PDF documents provided for each unit. The unit overview and printable resources PDFs include a summary of lesson coverage, a list of required resources, an assessment overview, and any printable resources required. The introduction and assessments framework PDFs relate to the whole scheme and are included with each unit for quick and easy reference. The best way to get started is by reading the introduction, which provides helpful information about this exciting new set of resources. In the assessment framework PDF, there are 4 skills ladders, each offering 20 progressive steps of musical achievement across the key skill areas. I'd like to show you the early years section next, so I'm going to go back to the lesson bank and into the foundation year group. So our new early years units were devised by Sue Nichols and Sally Hickman. They support practitioners to deliver the 2021 Reform Statutory Framework through music. Like years 1 to 6, we have a PDF at the top. And this time it's an introduction and overview. This document includes an introduction outlining the pedagogical approach. We have an explanation of the unit structure, guidance on observation, assessment and planning. I got ahead of myself a little bit there. And of course, musical support. There are 15 new units, 3 of which were added just a few months ago. And the previous units are still available, labelled pre-2021, so you have lots of additional material to dip into. Progression is built in within each unit, so you can pick and choose your favourite topics and work through them in any order. Every unit covers the 7 areas of learning and development and all aspects of musical engagement, and they're all structured in the same way. The website labels the blue boxes as lessons, but as you'll see, the organisation of the resources is much more flexible. So let's take a look. So we can see there's the usual summary panel, including a unit overview and printable resources PDF. And these documents include a wealth of additional content. So we have an introduction to the unit, there's signposting to related books, songs and vocabulary. We have home learning activities, full transcript of the stories, melody lines of all the songs, and any further supporting imagery, templates, and other resources. I'm going to keep scrolling so you'll see a little bit more there. Okay, and then we have 4 boxes. The first is dedicated to enhancing continuous provision, with ideas under the headings of sand, water, painting, Play-Doh, small world and construction, role play and creative design. The second box contains all the musical and audio resources. Each unit includes some combination of a story with audio narration, an original song or chant with performance and backing track options and teaching notes. In this case, we actually have both. A traditional tune, so these are new lyrics sung to a traditional melody, and this comes with audio demonstration and teaching notes. And or a piece of listening music with ideas for how children can explore and respond. The third and fourth boxes include the activities to support adult guided learning across the 7 areas of learning and development for ages 3 to 4 and ages 4 to 5. The audiovisual resources for musical learning and audio are included where relevant, for example, the Helpful Elves story here. And there are displays and signposting to the printable resources too. One final thing I wanted to share with you in relation to the lesson bank is that over the coming months, we'll be adding extra units to every year group, so you have more choice in the material you cover. The new resources target outcomes recommended in the model music curriculum and introduce varied and exciting new listening pieces and songs. The majority of these units will be offered as alternatives to the currently available units and will slot into the existing progression. So our next section then is the song bank. Here we have over 400 songs in a variety of styles and covering a wide range of topics. Above the songs are filters to help you find a song to suit your requirements, and you can filter by year, theme, style, and season. So for example, I'm going to go with Foundation, and let's have some animal songs. And then you can see all of the results there. If you'd like to start your search again, you can simply click on the reset button to the right of the filters. Then we simply click on a song tile to view the songs page. As you can see, the songs are delivered in the same player as the lessons with the same controls. So let's stick with performance. Why don't we do line this time?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, moving swiftly on then to our next section, which is warm-ups. And as you can see, these are grouped by age range. And then we have them broken down into physical warm-ups, vocal warm-ups, and focus builders. Click on the individual warm-up to access the graphic, audio, or video resources and the accompanying notes. Next up, we have our skill builders, and these are organised in a similar way to the warm-ups, so select your age range. And then this time we're choosing between beat, rhythm, and pitch. Each activity is progressively harder than the one before, and it works well if activities for beat, rhythm, and pitch are tackled simultaneously. So the first beat activity alongside the first rhythm activity, and so on. As before, click on the tile to access the graphic, audio, or video resources and notes. The next section is our instrumental resources, and here we have Ukulele Magic, Recorder Magic, and an interactive xylophone. So starting at the top, Ukulele Magic is our beginner ukulele course, which provides everything you need to deliver group instrumental lessons. The lessons are accessed in the same way as in the lesson bank, so we can select our unit and then our lesson. And as you can see, the displays include chord diagrams, strumming patterns, lyrics or notation, and audio. Moving on to Recorder Magic. So this is great again for whole class recorder teaching with fun activities and pieces with 2 parts. The course takes learners from pre-reading to playing and reading notes E, G, A, B, and high C, gradually introducing music notation and theory. So just to show you a little example of that. As you can see, it includes audio to play along with and plenty of supporting notes for the teacher. Finally, in this section, we have our interactive xylophone, and there are 2 versions provided, the traditional or horizontal and the upright or vertical. You might like to use this in lessons to find a note or to demonstrate a part to the children, and simply click on the keys to hear the notes. The next section is brand new for this academic year, at least. And we have the Knowledge Bank videos section and the glossary section. Starting with the videos. Firstly, we have our elements of music animated videos. These can be dipped into at any time to remind everyone of the meaning of the elements or interrelated dimensions of music. So I'll just show you a quick example of one of these. I'm going to jump to a middle section.
A piano has many different notes, from very low-pitched to very high-pitched.
Okay, so that's our elements of music videos. Then we have our instrument spotlights. So we've teamed up with the fabulous National Orchestra for All to bring you this set of spotlight videos that introduce children to a range of instruments, as explained by the wonderful young musicians. So I'll find a little example of this. So the players give demonstrations, talk about their own learning journeys, and offer advice to help and inspire new or aspiring instrumentalists.
So we have a clarinet, long tube with lots of keys on it, and each time you cover up a hole, that changes the note. So the more things you put down, the lower the note goes.
Pupils can then watch a performance by the full orchestra of the same piece. So I'll just show you a little clip of that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Double click there. We have example questions, and these are provided to encourage pupils to discuss and reflect on what they've learned from the videos. And there's also signposting to related listening within the scheme. On to our next section of videos, we have here our teacher support section. So this is designed to build confidence in music teaching across the school. And the videos are designed to help develop best practice in the delivery of primary music activities. These videos offer support with teaching a song, composition, listening, notation, and much more. So again, I'll just show you a couple of examples.
Graphic notation. The model music curriculum encourages its use and includes this as an example of a Key Stage 1 composing task. Let's start with something simple. Take this example.
Nice bit on graphic notation there, and then I'll show you this one as well, which is a little introduction to staff notation.
Helping you to understand notes and other elements of music theory. Notice that all the white keys are named after the first 7 letters of the alphabet.
And our final video section is classroom instruments. So these offer brief introductions to a wide range of percussion instruments. The overview PDF has photos of all the instruments included with labels to help you find the correct video if you are unsure what an instrument is called. Then you can click on the instrument name to find out more and watch a short demonstration.
These are agogo bells. The word agogo coming from the Yoruba word meaning bell. Originally from West Africa, they are now very important in samba music.
Okay, then back to the main knowledge bank. Just to highlight our glossary page. This features an alphabetical list of musical terms, each with its own definition. If you remember, each lesson plan notes relevant vocabulary, so this would be a really good place to come if there's anything you're unsure of. At this point, I'd just like to show you a couple of other functions before we move on, starting with favourites. So you may find it helpful to save or bookmark your favourite resources so you can access them quickly. And you can do this by clicking on the heart symbol beside unit, lesson and song titles. So if I teach year 2 and we're working through the unit Our Bodies, and I'd like to have, say, lesson 2 ready to go, I can click on the heart here by the title. And now when I go to my favorites, you can see that it's been added there. You can rearrange the order of your saved resources by dragging and dropping the panels. So I might want to drag my next lesson to the top, like so. You can unfavorite a resource simply by clicking again on the heart, and you can do that either here in the My Favorites section or in the resource itself. And you can do this for units, lessons, songs, and videos in all of the sections we've covered so far. And it would be for your individual login only, so it won't affect other users in your school, allowing you to tailor to your personal needs and preferences. I'm conscious of time, so we do have a search box, but I feel fairly confident that you will understand how these work by now. So just to quickly demonstrate, you can type in a keyword, and then you'll be shown all of the search results, which are color-coded by the different sections of the website. And you can choose to sort by year group, by resource type, and you can order them according to oldest first and youngest first as well. So moving on to the support sections, I briefly mentioned the COVID-19 support area. There's lots in there for home learning, activities where singing and instrument sharing is limited or not allowed. But before we wrap up, I'd just like to show you the About Music Express section, because you can find lots more information here about Music Express and the resources on offer. There's guidance on how Music Express fulfills the national curriculum. There are answers to FAQs, information about the authors, and perhaps of most interest to those with a dreaded O visit on the horizon, there are our skills progression documents and curriculum maps. We've also added some helpful documents with information on how Music Express relates to the model music curriculum. And we're currently updating all of our planning and mapping documents to make sure they are as helpful and easy to use as possible, so do watch this space. Finally, we have the help section, where you can find the Music Express user guide, information on inset training, guidance on using Collins Connect, and of course our contact details. So there we have it, a whistle-stop tour of Music Express. I'm now going to turn to the chat to address any questions. I'm conscious that it is the 30 minutes is up, so we will of course send a roundup for any of those, any of you that have to leave us. So please bear with me while I catch up. Lovely, okay. Does it make any difference regarding progression through the year when switching lessons around, e.g. to suit our current topic? Thank you, Catherine. That's a really, really good question. Yes, it does make a difference. The Music Express curriculum is based on a spiral approach to learning. So you're building on previous learning all the time when you're returning to different skills and different activities. So if you were to be switching lessons around or units around, I would suggest looking at the skills progression documents to just check what needs to come before that. I would say, particularly with the Ofsted focus on progression, I would probably advise against moving things around. But if you feel confident to do so, if you're happy to kind of have a look at those documents and make sure that you can get in the prior learning, then obviously do feel free. Thank you very much. I hope that helps. So Rhiannon, thank you. Do you know if the PDF documents are or will be in future available as editable Word documents? That is the plan. So we are working on new versions of our planning documents, and the idea is that these will be editable. Some of them might not be Word documents, they might be editable fields in PDFs, depending on the file type. But thank you for that bit of feedback. We'll certainly be keeping that in mind. Lovely. And another question. So working in a school with mixed age classes, do we know if there are any plans to create a document showing the links between the EYFS units and Key Stage 1 units? So yes, that is part of our planning review, where we'll be showing how the early years unit prepares students for Key Stage 1. So yes, do keep your eyes peeled for that. There'll be lots of helpful things coming very soon, so do keep an eye out. Lovely, thank you so much. I'll just give it a little bit longer in case there are any more questions. Fantastic. Lovely, good. Thank you, Helen. It's good to hear that you've discovered some new areas of Music Express today. That's fantastic. So yeah, I hope that has helped give you an idea of how Music Express works and what's included. Of course, you are more than welcome to contact us at any time. We're always really happy to hear from you. We do read and listen to and take on board every bit of feedback that comes to us. So so please do contact our team. I think that is probably everything. Fantastic. Lovely. Thank you, Lucy. That's great to hear. Wonderful. There are just a few links going into the chat now for anybody who perhaps isn't yet a subscriber. My lovely colleague Lisa has just popped a form link in there. But yes, I think that is just about everything. Thank you for hanging around, those of you who've been able to. And yes, do contact us if you have any further questions, and have a lovely evening.